Okay, I guess we can start. So yeah, hey guys, welcome to the WebHack number 54. And before we start, I'm gonna to give a quick introduction to WebHack Meetup. So first, okay, this is our agenda today. So we are gonna have a short talk around like 20 to 30-ish minutes, and then have a Q&A after that. So about WebHack, WebHack is a Tokyo-based meetup, monthly meetup. We before COVID, we were hosting event per every month in different offices. So for those who are familiar with WebHack meetup, you might have heard this a lot of times. But this is like a picture of our previous event when we were able to host event in person. But unfortunately, due to the COVID-19, we cannot have physical event at this moment. But we are still hoping that one day we can have an in-person event later after the situation is getting better. With that said, we are still trying to improve our online experience. So we created our YouTube channel. So we put every video recording of meetups to our YouTube channel. And please don't forget to subscribe our channel and click on the notification bell. So yeah, even with that situation, our audience are still growing. So now we have over 1,500 members in campus. And also we have cumulated attendees to like over 2,000, and our audience are still growing. So if you are interested in knowledge sharing, or you wanna like grow your influence to the community, this is the best chance for you. So please give a talk in our platform. And if you are interested, please fill this form. I will be sharing this URL later. So yeah, today we are pretty honored to invite Byron to share about his experience in engineer manager. So I'm gonna give the control to Byron. So Byron, there you go.
Okay. Thank you.
I need to stop sharing.
Okay. Share screen. All right. Okay. So before start, I want to do a little bit introduction of myself. My name is Byron. Thanks for joining today's meeting. I'm in the sharing. So I'm currently work as software engineer at PayPay web front team. Before that, I has been work for Rakuten Group. I think it's for over like 6.5 years. For Rakuten Taiwan and Rakuten Japan, and I got a lot of chance to like go through different roles. For example, like engineer, or maybe something like technical leader, and then until engineer manager. So today I'm going to share some like tips or maybe something inspiring for you guys. So that you can know a little bit about like when you become an engineer manager, what kind of things will be happen at the first beginning. So let's start. A couple minutes ago, you just finished the handover from your previous, like, okay, maybe not a perfect handover, maybe no handover, but anyway, you just start a new role as a EM of your team, and here comes the first web. So today's outline will be like the first one I want to talk about is what kind of things will change in your life, in your daily life, and then when you like control those stuff, we can go to the next step, which is help team more stable, and then to grow the team. Our final is you can think about like what can we do even better for teams.
Recording in progress.
So the first things you are going to have is this one. Meetings. And if your daily life is already like this one, I feel very sorry for you, but for the engineer manager, it usually start like this one and then become like this one. So this is something can be happen in real life. You can see like there's a lot of meeting during maybe lunchtime, but this kind of something will happen. So let's start a little bit and take a look for the definition of manager from the Harvard Business. You can see like for the normal definition, we can say like a manager is who is in charge of a certain group of tasks, and usually have some staff or people will report to him or her. But the thing is the real life is manager is who rides through the halls in a frantic attempt to make the next meeting. I don't know, it's good to say that now because of COVID-19, you are not going to run the meeting, you just sit there and the next meeting will come in or not. But this is the definition of a manager for now. So what we do is we can reduce the meeting. I list some meeting here. So the first most important meeting for me usually is one-on-one. I'm going to say that this is the most valuable meeting when you become the engineering manager. The reason being is because you can learn a lot of stuff from your members. You can learn the technical part, and you can also know more from your members. And it's very important when you know more from them, because once you know more, you know like what kind of tests they will be struggling, kind of tests they will be more like hands-on, and you can assign the test very well. Also, we can talk about more like for one-on-one, but today we are not going to deep in it. But anyway, I think the most must attend the meeting will be one-on-one. And instead of one-on-one, this meeting you can also join. So something like you can show your team performance. For example, maybe there's a project demo. Maybe in every quarter you have something like your team, what kind of stuff your team did in this quarter. It's a great chance to show your performance to other teams, to let them know like what's the importance of your teams right now, and what kind of contribute you put for the company. And also the meetings can know the members' current tasks. I also recommend to join. For example, the daily huddle, you can get a lot of information there. Member will sharing like what kind of tasks I'm currently struggling. I have some kind of issue. You can also know like what kind of tasks they are working on right now. So daily huddle is basically the most important things I will join. And then something like sprint retrospective, you can learn a lot of things from that. So this kind of meeting make team deliver more smoother, because you will talk about like what kind of things we did bad and during the meeting, during the sprint, and then what kind of thing we can improve after that. Also, the meeting can get information from high managers. I also recommend to join, because sometimes the information from high manager will impact your resource, and it's better to know earlier if there's anything change. And what happened to other meetings? So what you can do is reduce the duration and frequency. For example, maybe you will have project sync meeting, maybe daily, weekly, but during the project development, in the beginning, we don't need to sync so much time. So you can simply change to bi-weekly or maybe 3 weeks, this kind of stuff. And if you find out that this meeting you joined, but you didn't say anything during the meeting, didn't get any information from a meeting, you just simply say no. You're not going to join this kind of meeting. Another choice is you can assign to senior member or tech lead. So it's a good chance to them for them to like learning some stuff and learning how to cooperate with other teams. You can like join with them a few times and then just give them the entire authority to join everything and control everything. So what else? If you join a meeting and you find out that there's no more topic, everyone is down to sharing, just write up. And if you find out that you are not required anymore in this meeting, just leave it. So in this kind of way, you can reduce a lot of meetings and save your time from the meeting. So next part is once you become engineer manager, the things you will notice is your role is changed. When we say role change is about like something like relationship with members. So if you are promoted like after joining the team for a while, you might realize, okay, nothing changed. We still can share a lot of information each other with members, like we can talk like each other just like before. But the truth is, it's something members just don't want to talk to you because you are now is an engineering manager. And this is not anyone's fault. It's because you don't have any authority to like evaluate their performance before, but now suddenly you need to evaluate their performance and you need to control the resource. So I would say, in my opinion, you just realize the role change is not a bad thing, but you have to know like you have different tasks for a team. So members have their tasks and you have your tasks. But the thing is the different tasks means the different authority, and you just keep notice that your relationship is like member and members, but with different tasks. This is very important, and I always like tell myself like okay, sometimes they don't want to talk to me because this might impact my imagination for someone, but it's okay. So how about relationship with other teams? So be careful. When you co-work with other teams, you actually represent the team. When people talk about your team, the first person they think about is you. So if you are always very angry during the meeting, or if you like make a lot of joke during the meeting, this kind of imagination will put other teams members' mind. So when they think about this team, they think about, okay, this team is always angry. So be careful. And there's some ways for me. So you might encounter something like design team or product manager told you like, okay, we are going to work on this one. A lot of time you might say no because the resource is very shortage. For my past experience, when I say no, I can feel the product manager, designers, maybe like a little bit disappointed at the beginning. But if you say a lot of no, they might think about like why this team's resources shortage and why we cannot do something we want to do. So instead of showing no, I was told them like what's the cost and how long it will be. Like for example, on this feature we need 1 engineer for 1 day, maybe 10 engineers for 10 days. So let them choose. If the prioritize is very important, they can prioritize everything and then just do it, or just remove something from your current task. And how about your task? It's also changed. So you can realize before you become an engineer manager, you are the individual contributor. So you just doing your thing well and make your task finish and make everything not going to wrong by yourself. But now it's a little different because it looks like you are everywhere right now. But does it mean you have to do everything? But so it doesn't really work like that. So you don't need to do everything actually. So your task is you are able to provide the support in any place. And the you here sometimes means not you. What it means is, for example, if your members have some issue, and you don't know how to solve it, it's okay. You can find someone who knows to solve it to help a member. So it also means you can provide the support. And the second is you need to make a final decision on your own. This is one of your tasks. But remember, always listen to members' advice. The reason you have to make a final decision on your own is because the third one, you have to take the responsibility for the failure. And more specifically, there's a role called captain. It's very similar with the engineer manager. So what captain did is he or she need to like control the ship and make ship safely to finish the mission. If there's anything wrong, the captain need to make a decision to help the member. So this is what I thought. As an engineer manager, it's usually like captain. You got a lot of requirement, you have to do a lot of things, but you don't have to finish by yourself. You know how to solve it with your members. And so next, you free yourself from the meetings and also know your role has been changed. What next? Let's come to team stability. So we are going to talk about something to help you to make you can stable the team. And before we talk about that, I want to mention a key point here. So a lot of engineer manager, when they join the team or when they just got promoted, they want to change a lot of things because when they are members, they already know there's a lot of problems that cannot be solved. And when they sometimes they told their manager, it still cannot be solved. So when they have chance, they want to change everything. But I want to tell you that this is always not the good things. So when you become an engineering manager, you should avoid changing too many rules or things at the beginning, especially those can impact your members. Those can impact their daily tasks. You should keep it for a while and see what's going on. So the first thing I will do is I will set a goal in the team mission for the team. The reason being is if your team has the same mission and same goal, your member know what they are doing, and everything you did based on the goal and the missions can be measured from the higher manager. Also, there's a survey showing like if the team, a company has a same goal, the business growth is higher than those company or team members don't have same goal. So next thing is once you have the same goal, you can list all your service and assign a PIC. The reason is everyone will come to you. So if you don't list all your service, you don't know like what kind of trouble you are doing right now. When they're asking something, you have to find a lot of things, and you got a lot of job meeting. So in this way, you can just tell them like, okay, the PIC is this member. You can find this member first, and this one can make a lot of things. Everyone can have ownership, so they can improve the service by themselves very well. I also suggest rotate the PIC time by time because this can help members learn the more things. When there's trouble or when there's members in vacations, always have other members can fix the issue. And about the trouble handling, so I had very pain experience when I became the engineering manager. There was a very big trouble. So in easy, the trouble means the money lose. I was panicked during the time, so I would try to figure out like, what happened, and in the meantime, the member is trying to fixing the issue. I just keep asking the members like, okay, what's the current situation? are we going to fix it, when we can fix it. And after that, we took a lot of time to fix the issue, and I realized this is not going to work because it put a lot of pressure to everyone, and the issue cannot be fixed immediately. So I suggest you can set out a very simple SOP. For example, you just let the person who fixed the issue can fix the issue quietly. Just don't disturb her, and you can her or he, or you can like, when your manager find you and asking how long you're going to take, you just handle your manager. Don't let the manager touch your members until they fix everything. And something good to have is I realized if you create a dashboard and the monitoring board, it's very helpful. Sometimes the alert will come to you first before everyone find out there's an issue. And the most important thing is a log. As an engineer, you should always log any error. When you're trying to find the trouble, the log is always helping. Also, putting the check-in PR in the database is important. For example, we have a lot of PR being merged every day. Sometimes trouble always come after the release, and sometimes it comes after the PR merge, especially staging environment. So notice what kind of PR being merged into your service can really help you to find the issue quickly. And it's also a good time to clean some tasks and tickets. For example, when I became an engineering manager, I got the request from a hiring manager say the service is not stable. We need to more stable in the future, and the release is not good because every time we release, it costs rollback. So what I did is I look back all the tickets we had, and I found out like 30% of those tickets were not really needed anymore. And I closed those tickets, and I also find out some tricky bug we already had, which caused some issue for our service. So when the troubles happens, I know that, okay, this is very tricky bug, and we already had the similar issue right now. I don't need to spend a lot of time to like check why this is going to happen. It's already there on the ticket. So it's a good time to clean some task or ticket. When you just become an engineering manager, you have time to do that. And the other thing is about you and your manager. So when I become an engineering manager, I always want to like show my manager like how great our team is. But I sometimes promote my teams like too much. So I think it's not, how to say, it's not that difficult to talk with your manager. You don't need to like nervous or something. You just tell them the truth. So you don't need to like how to say, if you're doing good, just tell them your team is doing good, but not great, just good. Tell them the truth. If you have any trouble, don't hide the trouble or issue. The cost of lying is usually high, and it's not only impact yourself, but also entire team. Sometimes you will get a lot of requests from your hiring manager, say, business side want us to do this, business side want this feature immediately, but it's okay to say no actually. Don't try to finish everything to show your manager like you are good to management the team, and your team can finish any task. So just tell them the reasonable reason. I think they will understand. And always talk what your member did and what they did well. It's because I think if you already a tech lead or engineering manager in team, you will find out it's very difficult for you in the performance review session to tell your manager like, okay, this member is doing very well in this quarter. what kind of things he or she did. Your manager probably don't know like what's the impact for this service. And in that kind of meeting, you usually have 1 or 2 hours to promote your member. So I would suggest you, when you have chance to talk to your manager, just told them like what kind of things your member did this spring or this quarter and how good they are. And this can help you like very easily to promote your members during the performance evaluation or maybe some other events. And so we finished like 2 parts, and the final part is what I think you can do even better. And this is not the requirement for the new engineering manager, but if you have time, I think you can work on this one to make your team better. So first thing is create a healthy environment. There's a wording called psychological safety. Is from Google. So it said in a team with the high psychological safety, the teammates feel safe to take risks around their team members. They feel confidence that no one on the team will embrace or punish anyone else for admitting a mistake, asking a question, or offering a new idea. This is very important actually. If your members try to hide something, for example, trouble, because they are afraid if they show any trouble, you are going to yell in or something, then it's very hard to fix the issue. So for myself, experience, create a healthy environment. It's very helpful for you to communication with members, and the members can ask any question, arise any trouble if they have, without you asking them. And the next one is the one-on-one. So again, I think the most important meetings for manager I want to highlight here is one-on-one. I had a bad one-on-one experience. I also provide some bad one-on-one experience, but I learned a lot from one-on-one, and I think this is the most important meetings. So I suggest you, if you have time, you can customize your one-on-one for each members. For example, some members don't want to sit there in the meeting room to talk with you. You can like bring them to outside. Some member maybe want to like talk some project during a meeting. It's also okay, but the most important thing is you have to find what your member need, what your member like for the one-on-one. And there's something I suggest to do during one-on-one. So first thing is you just listen and let them talk. If you have any thought for your members, you need to tell them like, okay, I noticed that your A project is doing well, but I also noticed that your B project is not doing well because what kind of things you can be improved. So to tell them like what your thought is very good, because some members will guess what your thought for them, and don't let them guess, just tell them. And the final thing is the most important part for one-on-one. So I noticed that for myself, the most bad experience from one-on-one is the manager asking like, what's the current status for your project, and what's your task doing? Like, is it going well? Why the project has some issue? Can you tell me like this PR is doing what kind of stuff? It's very frustrating actually during the one-on-one, and I still need to report some project status, and then the manager know like what kind of trouble we have, but not talking about myself, not talking about my career path planning. So if member love to talking projects, it's okay, but I think you should like know like what kind of things member want to talk for one-on-one. And you can see like manager who have one-on-one has more chance to keep their team. But manager don't have one-on-ones. They lose members quickly than those have. So this one is a little bit tricky. I think you might have experienced that your manager ask you what's your current project and what's the current project status. For me, I usually don't ask this kind of question to members, because I think manager, as an engineering manager especially, you have a lot of tool to check in your member status. For example, you have the conference, you have Jira, you can know what kind of information they update, and you have GitHub. You can see what kind of PR they write, what kind of PR comments they put. Is this member doing well? Is he or she angry recently? You can find from the PR comments. So actually, you can use a lot of tools to know your members' activity without asking them. Okay, so I think as an engineering manager, when you see the member struggling something, you might want to help them, because you can know if you don't help them, they will become a trouble in the future. But my suggestion is, you have to help them, but not at the beginning. Just let them have a chance to solve the problem by themselves. And if you know they're going to fail, but this fail is not so big one. So I'm not talking about the system downtime, entire system down, this kind of failure. I'm talking about the button doesn't work, maybe some widgets showing the wrong text. This kind of failure, you can just let it happen. Let them go through this failure so they can learn from themselves in the future. If you see they are struggling, don't help them, don't give them an answer directly. Just give some hint first to see how he or she will continue for next step. This can also help you to understand your members' ability. So maybe some members can solve the question very fast, but maybe some question is not not this member's familiar part. So maybe he or she will spend more time on this. And the final thing is, I think for yourself, I would say keep coding. The reason being is I realize some engineering manager don't really take about the technical part, because in their team there's also other position called tech lead. But I think as an engineering manager, it's very important to keep coding, because you are the one who can see the whole picture, and you are the one who can decide the architecture with the tech lead. If you are not keep coding, it's very hard for you to make some technical decision with tech lead. All right. So I think I talk a lot of things today, but if you want to measure if you are doing well or not, there's a very simple way here. So long for short, if this thing can work well in most of the case without you, you are doing well. But this is not it looks like. So what I mean is if you fix a lot of problems, and if you have a lot of PIC can work on behalf of you, you can go to next step in the future. So one day you still got to promote to the senior manager. But if you don't want to do something you got to promote with the senior manager, and your team crash after you leave. So this means you can take care, and there's someone who can help you to run the team well without you in most of the case. And here's the recap today. Because the topic for engineering manager is usually big, I don't think I can cover everything today. Even I already talked a lot of things. Whenever there's things related to people management, it's always very difficult because people is not like robots. So I want to tell like final most important topic here is if you can find a way to make things work smoothly, any way is a good way. So for me, it's like I don't really follow those instructions that I read from the management book. Instead of that, I test those math and I find the math that only work for myself, or maybe only work for most of the case. I think if you want to become an engineer in the future, you need to also practice this way, like finding the way you can run the team smoothly, and anything is a good way. So I think I spent 30 minutes today. Thanks for listening. If you have any question, we can go to Q&A right now.
Thank you so much for the insightful talk. So if you guys have any question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask question here or ask your question in the chat.
Hello, hi. I would like to ask a question. I thank you for your sharing. It was great. And I'm also an engineering manager working in Japan. So I have two questions. The first is related to technical part. So since an engineering manager still needs to get involved in a lot of the technical stuff, in technical decisions. However, we are occupied by a lot of meetings. Then other than keep coding, you already mentioned, do you have any tips for you to kind of efficiently catch up with the latest technology? That's my first question. Thank you.
How about second one? You want me to answer the first one first?
Yeah, okay. My second question is, so I think maybe you were the M1 manager. So that's the manager level 1. So in order for you to, or for us to get promotion, what are the necessary more things to do in your opinion, so that we can get to like senior engineering manager? So that's my second question. Thank you.
Okay. I think you asked very good questions, especially for the first one. As you mentioned, like as an engineering manager, you got a lot of meetings there. Even you try to reduce those meetings, you still cannot reduce like all of them. So my way to keep the technical part is I have some like technical sharing. I set up some technical sharing with the members, especially with my engineer, senior engineer, engineers, tech lead. So I extend to share anything they learned from the internet or from anywhere every week. So in doing this way, I don't need to like really spend my time to learn a lot of stuff. Although I still spend a lot of time after work, I check a lot of the technical document. But during the work, you can do something like this one. So just ask your members sharing their learning from the internet, and everyone can share every different topic. It's not really need to focus on your work right now. For example, if you are a front engineer, you don't need to just sharing the front stuff. You can share in the backend stuff, maybe the native stuff. So this is the one way I learned. I keep my technical part during the work, and also I mentioned like after work I learning from some like internet resource. I check a lot of GitHub repository. For example, there's some GitHub repository like React, Vue. I check those PR time by time, so I know like what is the. We are not going to say like gray way. We are going to say like maybe the good way to write code. So we can align the standard with the latest like front end stuff, this kind of things. And about the second question, I think it's a little bit hard to answer right now. For my personal opinion, so if you are M1, you want to become the senior manager, like I mentioned, you need to take care of your team first. Like as I mentioned, that your team can work very smoothly without you in most of the case. This is the first part. And then if you want to become the senior manager, you must realize the communication is the most important thing. When you co-work with other teams, like for example, you co-work with design team, product teams, the way you show in your attitude, the way you solve the problems, communication is very important. So focus on solving the problem when you co-work with other teams, but not argue like, okay, we are not going to do this. This is not going to work. I realized the higher manager, they got their communication skill is very good. They usually don't say no. They say the resource is what kind of resource we need, how many time we need, this kind of stuff. So I would say for myself, for my personal opinion, the communication skill and the way you co-work with other teams is the key point to make you go into more higher level. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You have great answer. Thank you. I learned a lot.
Hello, Brian. Thanks for the talk. I have a question about communication with your team member. Has any of your team member asked you about how to get promoted or the growth plan? How did you react? Thanks.
Okay. That's also a good question. For my case, when I talk with members, I usually ask them like what kind of career path you want to grow yourself. So I would tell them like currently we have two paths in most of the cases. The first path is continue going to the technical part. You are become the technical expert in the future, and the other path is become a manager. So when I told this kind of option to them, they will think about like which path they are going to choose. Once they decided the path, so I will, there's a company rule, right? So for example, if you want to become the manager, you have to finish maybe 4 or 6 performance evaluation. Maybe you have to reach some high, like some score. Even it's not really hard sometimes, but I will let the members know like what's the rules to become the manager or maybe the tech lead in this company. And after that, I will help them to like continuously going on the path. For example, if you want to promote someone into the tech lead, you have to show this person got a lot of technical impact, not only in your team, but also across the entire like department. So in this case, I will assign these members a project, and this project can impact across the entire departments. So I don't need to prove that like this guy has a high technical skill. It already showed after he or she finished the project. This is one thing. Another thing is about the technical impact for tech lead. I also will ask them like try to share the knowledge across the departments, so everyone can know you like, okay, you are familiar with foreign, you are the foreign experts. So when they reach this kind of mission, for me it's very easy to help them to get the position. That's how I did for my members. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
On top of your answer, I got one question about that. So after you assign a member like impactful task, but what if like he or she cannot resolve the issue or finish the project fluently? How do you like guide him or she in this sort of case?
Yeah, question. So I think that this case will also happen in the real life. Honestly, I don't really have this case, but for me, the things I will do is when I assign a task to a members, especially this kind of crossing department projects, I usually watch very closely with the members every day. When I say watch, I'm not talking about like we have like daily meetings. I just watch. I will stand by side and watch what kind of things he or she did. And if I find out that this is not going to work, I will like assign a meeting between us and then tell him or she like if we're going to reach this this one, what thing we need to change or why your way is not going to work. Also, not only help this guy, you also need to let them know like so maybe member will feel like okay maybe I'm not suitable for this position, maybe my technical is not good enough to overcome this position. So it's also okay. So when you help them and when you realize they have this kind of thought, you, for my case, I will talk to them like it's not we can just like finish this project first, and everything you are worried about we can like continuously change or grow by ourselves. We don't need to reach this or maybe get this position at this moment. We can do it later. But the key point is you cannot let a member like feel like, oh, I'm not good. I'm never have chance to get the position. Instead, you have to let them know like how long they can work on until they get the position.
Thanks, pretty insightful.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Have you been in a situation where a team member is kind of unliked by other members? And if so, how did you handle that situation?
Yes, I did. But okay, let me share the background first. So the background is there's a team members in team. The reason being most of engineers don't want to co-work with this member is because the way that this member solved the problem is a little bit different with others. So you can imagine like how will be going on when this member write a PR, and the PR review and PR comment is going to crazy. I don't I cannot say I did well, but at least the way I solved this one is during the one-on-one, I talk with each members and I just ask them like, what do you think of these members? What kind of soul you have? And they will tell me like, okay, this guy is when this guy writing the code is not good to read, it's very bad. This kind of things. So there's two parts. If the one I'm talking to is the senior members, I will tell them like, you are the senior members. If you want to continue to grow as a tech lead, you cannot have this kind of thought. You cannot say, okay, this guy is not doing well. The code is very ugly. You cannot put this kind of comment in the PR review. You have to like tell them why you think this is wrong and what's the better way. If I'm talking to the senior members, and if I'm talking to junior members, I always said okay. So because there's one more interesting thing. So senior members always influence junior members. So when your team's senior members doing a lot of stuff like this one, entire team will going crazy. Entire team against one members. So the thing is you have to take care of senior member first and then go to junior members. I told them like because we are people. People have different thought. The way we are being trained is also different, especially for front engineer. You can find a lot of front engineer when they study at the university. It's not like engineering major. It's a lot of, they come from everywhere. So your code is not going to be perfect. So I will ask junior member like, think about it. What will be the better way to write a code? And what do you think about those senior members? Did they really behave well? You really want to do something like like them, like you put a lot of bad comments in the PRs. Is they really good? This kind of stuff we'll be talking during the one-on-one. And I also will ask the members, like the members who did the VIP art. I also ask member like, what's your thought? Why you will write this kind of art? I want to understand why he or she has this kind of thought, and then I will tell this member like what other members think, and I will tell this member like directly like, I don't think this is a good behavior for other members, but I really feel sorry you encounter this kind of issue. You can just let me know. So I spent like, I think half years in this case. It's very long case. The situation is getting better, but before I left, at least this member stayed until I left the company. I think this is already a good part, but I still think there's much things I can do better. So for example, you really need to let those senior members know this is really bad, and you are not going to allow this one in the teams. You have to tell them every time. It's not only one time can solve. Like you have to tell them like whenever you have chance to do one meeting, and you can find out like when you talk these kind of things, maybe they will make this behavior even worse after you talk to these members. But my way is just keep talking, and I will let members know like if you want to go this way, your performance will not going to very well because you impact entire team, and this make entire team cannot be work. So I hope this at least give you some experience. But my case, I will not say I really solved the case, but if I have chance, I probably will do different, like more crazy way. Just stop them doing this kind of stuff.
Well, thank you for all that information. That was fantastic.
Hi, I have one more question. Do you have some advices on how to encourage your team members to help each other? You know, sometimes when there's a new member, there's old members, they tend to, do some weird things. They don't want to help, or sometimes they even fight with each other. Well, not exactly fight, but they are not very happy to help each other. How do you change this situation? Thanks.
Okay, that's a good question. So, the thing is that you have to find out why they don't want to help. Because they don't have time, or because they spend time doing this and there's no like feedback for them. But for me, it's like I always assign a mentor to a newcomer, and this is very important. I set up the like newcomer plan, like for day one, what kind of things they need to work, day 2, day 3, and I have talked with the mentor before I assign this task to these guys. I will let these guys know that this is very important task, and it also count into your performance evaluation, because you said you want to become the tech lead, you want to become the venture manager, you want to become senior members. So this also count. Whatever you did, or whatever the new members behaved, it's also count into your performance evaluation. So let the guy know like this is very important task, and they can get a benefit if they're doing well. This is the good case, but the case you mentioned is a little bit like worst case. No one want to help each other. Can I know why?
I don't know. Sometimes the people like they think they have to fight to get promoted. It's a kind of mindset.
That's also a good thing. Good stuff. So, as I mentioned before, like each company has their rule to get promoted, and if you are engineering manager, you definitely have authority to choose which one can be promoted. You have to let them know very clearly if they want to promote, they have to do something. Like for example, help the newcomer. Maybe don't if you are seeing the fight for the resource, you can let them know like it's not going to work. If you find out, just tell them. You don't need to you don't need to worry about like people or member will like don't like you once you tell them the truth. No one can like satisfy everyone in the work area. When you're doing work, especially you are engineering manager, you must realize no one maybe entire team don't like you, but the thing is you have to solve the problems and you have to like help them to the right way, and just tell them this is not going to work if they are going to fight and not going to help the members. I think it might be have a chance to change something.
Okay, thanks.
I have one question based on the previous person's question. Like her question is, how do you encourage your team member to co-work if they don't want? But my question is, when you're looking for the new candidate or a new engineer for your team, you would prefer to look for a skill fit or a team fit as a engineering manager?
First of all, I really want to say this is a very good question. I also asked the same question when I have interview with other company, especially the guy is the engineering manager. So this is one of the topic I didn't cover today. As an engineering manager, you have to standardize your interview process with your senior member and tech lead. The reason is because you have a common sense together, and you know like what kind of member, what kind of stuff, what kind of quality or skill you are searching for. It's not only about you, it's because you discuss with all the members in teams. So when you do this kind of things, everyone you hire is already been accepted in teams because this is discussed by all members. We are searching for more skillful people. We are searching for more smart people. We are searching for junior members. What kind of level we say is junior? What kind of level we say is senior? I usually have this kind of score form. We give each score during the interview, and after the interview, we can immediately know like how many score this engineer gets. The score doesn't mean good or bad. It just means junior, senior, middle level, it's kind of stuff. And those stuff is we discuss together to make those rules. So when you're hiring this guy, when this guy accepts the offer, at the moment, I think most of members already accept these guys because they set the rule together. And about another question you mentioned like what kind of person I usually searching for. To be honest, I prefer the person who I feel I can work comfortably, and then this candidate have at least like a medium level skill. So if this person have very high level skill, but I feel it's very hard to co-op during the interview, I usually don't pick. The reason is because the team I work with is a big team. We have a very limited time for developing the project. It's easy. If you will find someone very hard to cooperate with, even he or she has a very high skill, we are not going to complete our task or job. That's the reason.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry if I may. We might exceed. Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, yeah. First of all, thank you for your sharing. This is very informative. And then I want to ask about the PIC rotate. So, I mean, in our team, PIC mostly only like focusing on their own project or their own services. So, Do you have any suggestion regarding this? Because the PIC might refuse to change, might refuse to rotate.
Yeah. So my first suggestion is you have to stable your service first. For example, if you change this person to another like role, and after you change, this service will be like no one can take care. I don't suggest this kind of change. The only things I will do the rotate is because this guy, I already talked to this guy and he or she want to learn more stuff. Maybe he or she already work with this service for like 2 years, 3 years, and everything for this member is very easy to handle this service. So I will start to like put this member to another service. Maybe not 100% at the beginning, maybe like 20%, 30%. So and another 60% when the original service has issue, he or she can still like take this kind of trouble until like he or she 100% go to another service. And in the meantime, you have to like find another person to stand by or maybe take over he or she's projects. So as I mentioned, like the first things for rotate is you can make sure like your original service is okay. Otherwise, don't do this kind of stuff. You will mess up a lot of things.
Thank you very much.
On top of that rotation, I'm wondering, because not all members have same competency on every single task in your team. So how do you make sure the rotation goes well? Do you have any like takeaway or tips about the like inheritance of knowledge?
I see. So when we assign a PIC to a service, usually we will have a conference page to recall like what kind of important knowledge, business knowledge for this service. So my way is when I notice that this conference page cannot be like, I'll say, if you have to change this conference very frequently, I think it's good to keep it. But if you are not like continuously maintain the conference page, I would suggest just leave it in the code, because you can check the code immediately to know the logic. With the conference page, you have the basic business logic for the service. Also, when you're doing the rotate, it starts from the interview actually. So I will interview these guys for some position in the team first to make sure like each service have enough resource before I try to do in some like rotations. I also will let the interviewee know like if you join our teams, what kind of task you will start working on. Like for example, EC have checkout page, have search page. I would say maybe you are going to work on some like search stuff. Is that okay with you? So let the candidate know like in the future, once they join the company, if they're okay, they will just join. And then I don't have any issue when I try to do rotate, because I have conference page for basic knowledge, and I also make sure that every resource is okay, especially when you try doing this kind of stuff. There's always members there to stand by. This is one of my way.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, pretty insightful.
So I want to say another things about the interview. So I was supposed to cover this part in the PowerPoint, but it is too big. For myself, I always think interview is very important as an engineering manager. If you're trying to like go into the interview meeting, you need to be prepared well. So don't just go into the meeting and ask please do introduce yourself. I don't think this is good things. I always say like, tell me about yourself that you didn't write in your resume. So in this case, the candidate can know, like, you already know a lot of things from the resume, because they give you resumes, you have to read it. Otherwise, the resume is like useless. So the first question I always ask is, tell me about yourself. You didn't list on your resume, but it's also okay if you have any like general introduce yourself. So this is what I want to share. Like, if you are manager, you have to really be prepared for interview before you join the meeting.
Yeah, that's very cool. Maybe, yeah, we share in something very hard. Cool. So, any question here? Yeah, we still have some time, so feel free to ask a question.
I have another question. I was wondering, what sort of changes has working from home introduced to being an engineering manager?
Okay, so I probably cannot answer this question very well, because my experience is before the COVID-19. But maybe I can share some, like, as a tech lead, I do have some experience. I found out difficult when I try to, like, co-work with other members, because the way I usually did is I will watch what they are doing in the office. But when you work from home, there's no way to check, like, what they are doing or what's their reaction with other members. So my way is I usually talk privately with members. Probably not a good way, but I usually do some trash talk, like, to make sure, like, how's these members going, like, about a mental issue, maybe a physical issue. If they have some trouble, the talk usually start with some trash talk, and to just make members can feel like, okay, my boss is not going to, maybe tech lead is not going to talk with some serious topic with me. So this way can help you to, like, understand the current situation for your members. I also recommend the one-on-one, like I mentioned. Even work from home, you can have, like, casual one-on-one. For example, it don't need to be, like, in very, very formal. You can just, like, drink coffee, and maybe during some lunch, you have, like, one-on-one with your members to talk about, like, what kind of things he or she is doing recently. I usually can find a lot of information from this kind of stuff to know, like, if there's anything cause the members cannot work from home well, this kind of things. This is only my experience as a tech lead, but as a engineering manager, I cannot answer this one first. Maybe if there's other members here can share their experience.
The question was about, in the COVID-19 situation, how to have one-on-one with this kind of a small talk in the beginning.
Oh, no,
Mainly what has changed
Yes.
between working from home and working in the office as an engineering manager?
I see. My experience is purely from COVID since last year, from February. So, yeah, I couldn't also compare in that sense. Yeah. But I have, I have another question. Okay. So did you try any goal setting ways like OKR, SMART method, or even KPI? So what do you think about these ways and goal setting? Yeah, thank you.
So I think my way to doing the goal setting is more like some mix-up. For example, you will get some major goal from your hiring manager, like how many features we are going to do this sprint. When I doing the goal setting, I usually talk with member like, for example, if this member want to become more technical in the future, I will assign more technical projects to these members. And when I set the goal setting, I will also like say, okay, if you change some technical, maybe make the service more stable, you can have very good performance evaluations, this kind of stuff. So the key point is align the team goal and the members' career path goals together. This is the key point when I doing some goal setting. I don't really care like we should like follow the company rules 100%. I don't like this way because it doesn't really help members' goals, honestly, especially in a big company. So my way is mix up the career path and your team goal. Also you have to talk with your hiring manager, saying like this can help your member growth and also make the team growth if we reach this kind of topic. You can talk with your hiring manager from those stuff and then mix up them. So I don't think I used any really formatted like 100% OKR or 100% KPI setting. I don't use those way. As I mentioned, any way can make you grow your team member or grow your team is a good way.
Yep, thank you.
But of course, you have to, your company have some like maybe OKR or maybe like some, you have to fill in some form, right? Sometimes in the company system.
In our company, we do have the abstract principles for each level. And then now what I do with the goal setting is still I will reference that abstract principle and then to combine it with our concrete projects in our team or even our organization. And then, of course, I will also consider, as you said, the member's career path. So what he really wants to do and then what he wants to go as a tech lead or something like that. So yeah, I think it's also similar to what you say, that it's really case by case, and then we have to deal with each different individual. Yeah.
I think you are doing very well. So the part that we are going to fill in the company system is the things the engineering manager need to take care. So you don't need to like really follow the company's, but in the meantime you have to reach the goal. That's the different things. The thing you want to take care, you don't need to worry about like putting into members' career path, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
I have another question as well. Previously, we talked about if a member are fighting to get something, but what do you have any experiences? Is that one member is getting well with other members, but that particular member does not have a good skill. Maybe the tech skill is not up to the task. Then what should we do?
The case I sharing actually is the member don't have good skill. I think. So what I did is I have more like meeting with the members, and I prepare a list like from junior to senior, which skill you need to learn by each step. So I prepare a list and ask these members to follow this first. Let's see, like once you go to step 2, if you're getting better or not. If not, let's see what's the issue you encounter in step 2. This is the first way, and the other way is I also assign the other senior members, those members who have the high technical skill, to help these members to think about like why we should do this, help him or her like grow the technical skill. That's what I did. So with the list from junior to senior, and then assign the members who has a technical skill. And you have to check. You have to list the checkpoint very frequently.
Understood. Thank you.
Any question?
Yeah, Byron, sorry, I came a little bit late here, but I have a question for you. So as a software engineer manager, what do you think are some of the soft skills that are important that you use in your day-to-day?
Okay. There's a couple things. So first one is communication skill. This is very important for as a software engineer manager. So you have to communication with different teams very frequently. And as I mentioned in the PowerPoint, so the way you show in to other teams is represent your team. So I think communication skill is very important. I usually go with the soft one. When I say soft one is the in the beginning, I go with strong one when I become engineering manager, and I got a lot of bad, feedbacks from those teams. My higher manager told me like, you are too strong to other teams. Like you always say no, and this is not going to help your team to collaborate with our team. So after that I go into the soft one. So for communication, I always like tell them like how many time I need, how many resources I need. If you want to do this right now, we need to take over which project. This is for communication, the soft skill. And the other soft skill, I think, is, I would say observation. So as an engineering manager, for me, as observation is very important. You have to observe like your members. If there's any trouble, you smell something bad. When you work with other teams, is this team not doing their stuff? Is this team set up something for your teams? This kind of stuff. So for me, it's like I usually doing a lot of observation when I co-work with other teams, and also when I talk with members, I usually check if I say something wrong, if I say something they don't like, or if I do something they might feel not comfortable. I think this too is very important for me as a software engineering manager and soft skill.
Thank you, much appreciated. And just to a quick follow-up on that question, are there any skills that you're struggling with that you want to improve on?
Sure. So I think when I work as a engineering manager in my previous company, I had a lot of meetings, and I don't have time to like work on some coding task. I did check the PRs very frequently, but after left the previous company, I spent a lot of time to make my coding skill back to the normal level, or maybe back to the top level. So I would say keep the technical bar is still something that I trying to do and struggling in, because I only can do a lot of things after work, but I'm not doing the work.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful. Thank you.
I have another question. So when you were the engineering manager, were you worried about the opportunities on the market or your personal career path? That means the opportunities of engineers are more than the engineering manager positions in the market. So if being an engineering manager, does it mean that maybe when we try to change job, it's more difficult? And then this kind of career path decision, how did you think about at that time? And then now you're back to individual contributor. So this kind of comparison, and then maybe can you share it with us? Thank you.
That's a good question. So when I first time realized how to say, I want to find some job related to individual contributor, but I found out that because my technical skill has been like not so good at the moment. I mean, like 3 years ago, I realized like as engineering manager, the things you need to focus on is more like high level. If you want to find other job, they'll usually check like if you have ability to design the architecture for entire system. If you have the ability to help your member growth, this kind of stuff is very important skill for engineering manager. As I mentioned, like the technical skill is also important. I still don't have good solution for this one. But I think you should also keep this one when you try to keep your role as an engineering manager. You will find out like most of engineering manager will start to abandon this skill when you continue going your path. And this definitely your like good point if you have this one. Not only like have an idea to how to design a very like high level architecture, but also know what kind of things, what kind of tech we can use in this kind of architecture is very important. I would say keep your technical skill and know more high level stuff, not only in your area. For example, if you are a back engineer, try to learn some front-end stuff, try to learn some native app stuff. You don't need to like be very deeply, just know like what's the usually daily task and what's the big picture for entire system. And also learning like try to know how to help your member growth. Share your knowledge. I always share my knowledge whenever I have. I don't hide any knowledge or something because I know if member grows, I also grow. If member doing well, means I doing well. These three things, I think it's the most important things when I try to find. Actually, I try to find out engineering manager job before I become a contributor. But I found out that because my previous company have a lot of meeting, but in the market, they prefer more like technical background engineer manager during that time. That's why I start to find out like, okay, I cannot abandon this part, but not only like knowing the soft skill, but you have to also keep the technical stuff.
Cool. Is any question? Feel free to jump in and
I will share my PowerPoint to WebHack team, so you can find them later if you want the PowerPoint.
Yeah, we will upload the PowerPoint to the campus page, and you will get the notification from email, I think. Pretty cool. Okay. So I guess, yeah, it's about time. So yeah, thank you, Byron, for sharing all of those about engineering manager and helping members, resolving member conflict, and even interview. So thank you so much for your great talk. And before to answer our survey, I launched a survey, so please take some time to help us to improve our WebHack meetup. And if you are interested in giving a talk, just fill up the Google form. I feel free to answer that. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, okay. service. Yeah. Thank you. I think we can call it today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you. Don't forget to answer the polls. Okay. So I'm gonna end this meeting. Is that okay? Cool. Okay, thank you. See you later.